Hi there, and welcome back to the Nourish Your Nutrition Business video series. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to set your business up for ease, flow, success, effectiveness, and pleasure. So when you're getting started in business, you have this idea that you're going to, spend your days making a living doing what you love, right? Because that's essentially why you would choose to go into business. Nobody goes into business to imagine slugging it, doing the 9-to-5 grind. Most people are thinking about how they're going to, have a freedom lifestyle, right? Where you're really enjoying your work and in control of your schedule. But unfortunately, what can happen is a lot of times people don't know what they're doing in terms of how to set their business up properly. And so what they do is they take the model of looking at how, the 9-to-5 works or how other practitioners run their business and try to fit themselves in that box. So as far as effectiveness goes, it's really essential to actually create your business on a model that works really well for nutritionists, that is effective in terms of delivering your service so that your clients can get results. The entire model of doing things in one-off sessions does not work for holistic nutrition. The reason why is because it is something that you have to implement over a period of time for people, right? Because you may have a conversation with somebody and hear from them what's going on with them, and just know exactly what they need to do. But then when you communicate that to them, they feel totally overwhelmed by it. And then they imagine that they can't do it, right? You've probably had this experience before working with clients in the past, or if you're just graduated from school, you may have done follow-ups with your case studies, and you've noticed that their eyes kind of glaze over, like, oh my God, right? All stuff that you think is simple, but is more challenging than you might imagine for somebody to make so many changes. And because healing actually requires a systemic change, right? Like changing multiple areas of your life at one time, the coaching model is actually the best model for not only a health coach, but a holistic nutritionist, okay? Because you need to be there for the person to help them implement what they need to implement step by step, and actually lay that out for them in digestible pieces, right? So that's the other aspect of it. Taking what you want them to do, and I mentioned in the other video about creating a signature system, but then how do you take that signature system and deliver what they need to learn and implement in bite-sized pieces for them so that you don't overwhelm them? And essentially that's what it takes to be effective in business as a nutritionist. Chunking down information so that it goes from being complex to simple, giving people homework that they actually can do in the time period that you've asked them to, giving them the tools to help them implement that and make it easier for them. That's exactly why they've come to you, because they don't want to spend 100 years on the internet researching what they need to do, because nutrition is not their passion. That's why they're coming to you. So you need to distill all that down for them and then deliver it in a model that's effective for not only you, because you don't want to be reinventing the wheel with each client, right? And wasting precious mental energy and time without having systems and just showing up to each client session unprepared, right? So, you don't want that kind of a model, obviously, for yourself. And you also want to deliver in the service-based coaching model to the client so that your work is effectively helping them, right? So there's the effective part. Really essential. There's just kind of no other way of doing it that makes the life change that you're intending for your clients, right? Because you're not there to just give them a natural pill that is, just less toxic, right? You could base a practice on that. I think many people do. They have practices based on doing assessments and then just giving people a whole bunch of supplements, right? And I do think that helps people to a certain degree, have a certain mentality. But there's a whole bunch of people out there who want a life transformation, right? And those are the people that you want to work with. And those are the ones that want to do not just supplements. They want to change their paradigm. They want to change their life. And they have amazing reasons for doing that, right? Because there are people who want to explore their full potential in life. And those are the ideal clients to really help get results. And then you get to feel satisfied in your work because you're seeing that you're attracting the right clients and they're implementing what you've taught them, and they're getting the life change, and then they're telling other people about their experience with you. So they get the results and you get the satisfaction of doing work that you love, right? Because if you feel like you're, giving people all this information, but they're not implementing it, you're going to start to feel bad, right? Because what happens is if you attract clients who don't implement what you ask them to do, which is what will happen if you just do a one-off session where you do an assessment and send them on their way, they're going to tell people that they worked with you and it didn't work, right? So you have to be really smart about how you set up your business and really consider the highest needs of everyone concerned, right? Like one of the things that I will say to people is that I work in packages, and the reason why is that I basically say this to them: you and I both know that your life is not going to be transformed in one session, right? So if you just want one session, you might as well take that $150. Instead of seeing me, just go buy some organic groceries, because you're going to get more value out of that. Like, I'm straight with people. I'm not interested in working with people who just want to, just pick my brain and then not do anything with it, right? That's essentially what a one-off session is, right? And, like I said, there are maybe some people that's all they want to do. And to be honest with you, if that's how you want to do your business, this program is probably not going to give you as much value. You'll learn, marketing and sales and speaking and all that kind of stuff that would be of benefit to any holistic nutrition business. But it's especially for those people who want to take what they've learned, create a signature system, put it into a package model so that you can really be there and support your clients to get that full life transformation, to go beyond just like supplementation, and go to a higher level of healing, right? So I'm just looking over here because of my notes. I wasn't actually able to print my notes today because my printer only accepts one internet line, and for some reason it is not there today. So I had to send my notes to my phone. Okay, so that's everything to know about, what needs to be in place for effectiveness for your business. Okay, of course, that's a lot of the why. The how, I'll share with you in the next video. I'm going to walk you through how to set your business up for success and walk you through the program in how I help people to set up their business so that you can be totally 100% clear whether or not how I do business and how I teach you to do business is the right fit for you. Okay. All right. So the next thing, we've got effectiveness. Okay. Now we're moving on to ease. Okay. So basically your ease in business is going to come down to a decision, and that's to trust. Okay. Trust that what you need to know is going to just show up when you need it. Okay. Not only around like information that you need to know to serve your client, but also everything to do with the businessy side of your business, right? So a lot of times people get stuck in that perfection paralysis, thinking that everything has to be perfect before they can get a client, right? And that's just not, you're never actually going to start your business if that's how you feel, okay? Because if you're doing that, you're thinking more about how you're being perceived, then you're actually thinking about being able to help someone. Because at the end of the day, if I just threw a client in your lap right now without any preparation, there's a lot of things that you could do to serve them, right? And part of it is actually just being you and being present for them. That's like the most value of everything that you're offering, right? Is like your ability to hold the space for that person and be the person who believes in them until they are able to believe in themselves, right? So but in order for you to be able to do that for others, you have to be able to do that for yourself. So you have to trust that, that the universe is friendly and everything will be provided for you when you need it, not a second sooner, right? Because if you don't actually take, actually decide that you're going to do something, then you don't actually need any support, right? Because you haven't decided yet. So trust is something that you decide to have. It's not going to be just, coming to you, right? And then trust turns into faith, right? So basically when you don't know what the road is in front of you, then you have to actually act from faith, right? And that's a very difficult thing in our society where, you know, we are told this is how you get, this is how you're successful in life. You go to school, you get a degree, and then you go get a job, right? As a holistic nutritionist, it's not a straight path like that, right? You are going to have to trust that you're on the right path because of your feelings, right? Your feelings are true, right? Your feelings will guide you in the right direction. Okay, so you have to trust that. And if you trust that, then you actually live that in faith by taking action as though the desired outcome is already a for sure thing, right? Whereas what most people do is they wait for someone else to tell them what to do, or they won't take a move until they know all the answers, right? Or, you know, like they have to figure out the how of everything. And that's actually not where you need to put your energy. You actually have to envision the outcome that you desire. So whether that's getting a client results, or even getting a client, or making a certain amount of money in your business so that you can pay your bills, all of that has to be you thinking from the outcome and making decisions like as though you're already there, right? Because if you make decisions from where you're at right now, you're going to keep making decisions from fear and doubt, and you're going to not get any further than you are. You're going to keep recreating the same reality that you already have. So in order to implement everything that I've taught you so far, and this is alongside the mindset stuff that I talked about, you're going to have to just decide to trust and act from faith. Kind of end of story. I mean, that's the only way, right? Like people who make waves and make a difference and change the world are people who take risks, right? And, you know, it's some of us are more wired to enjoy that. Some of us have a lot of fears around that. So it's something that you just have to, like I said, make a decision. And if you need to get support from somebody to help you to hold the space, then do that, right? If you're expecting your clients to step out in faith and hire you to help them, then when the areas that you get stuck in your life are areas where you need to step out and ask someone else for help and hire someone to be that person to hold the space for you at the point where you don't have the faith in yourself. When somebody else has that faith in you, it actually gives you faith, right? Because actually we help other people create in their reality by how we think about them, right? So if you are to think negatively about somebody, they will likely reflect that back to you. Like whatever the negative thoughts that you think about them, they'll be like, it'll be unconscious, but they'll show you that you're right. Essentially because we do create with our mind and with our imagination. Pretty much everything we believe in, we create in our world, and then we decide that, oh, see, I'm right? And then we just create stuff we don't like just so that we can be right, unfortunately. This is another mindset thing that, you know, so you have to actually just change, like consciously decide, I'm going to believe this instead, right? So a lot of people have the mentality, I'll believe it when I see it. And then they are only seeing everything that is already in existence and recreating it, right? But actually what's happening is they are actually creating what they believe, right? So you believe something and then you'll see it. That's actually what's actually happening on both levels. But many people are unaware of how much power and responsibility they have to create their own lives. And so if you believe it when you see it only, then you're a victim to whatever's happening around you, right? And obviously you can't consciously create your world or change anything if you're waiting for somebody else to change. Okay, so you know, that's really going back into the mindset aspect of it, but you are gonna have to make a decision. You know, at the end of this video series, you're gonna have to make a decision about whether you're going to stay in the place that you are right now, or you're going to take a risk and actually get the help that you need to move forward and change things, right? Get that new paradigm. I mean, if you've never heard of some of the things I'm saying, you probably have already had a paradigm shift just getting this far in the free Nourish Your Nutrition Business training, right? So just imagine how much farther you could go. And we all need that help with the implementation part, right? It's one thing to know something, but to actually put it into practice is a totally different, story. And a lot of people are, standing around going, I know, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and then not getting the help because they're like, I know, And then we kind of become like information junkies, right? So we're only willing to put our attention on something new because we want new information. We think that that's going to actually change things, but nothing changes unless you take action, right? So if your clients, if they know they should be eating organic food, but they're not doing it, are they going to get the results of eating organic food just because they know it? No, they're not, right? So it's the same thing. Everything that, we could talk about mindset-wise, about your own success in business. We can also talk about how that impacts your clients and their success and their health. It's none of it is separate. The mindset piece, you utilize it for every area of your life, right? So if you use your business as a catalyst for your own self-development and your own spiritual path, all those things that you learn, then you can pass on to your clients because they need the same mindsets that you need to create a successful business. They need those same mindsets to actually choose health, right? To decide to trust in the innate healing power of their body, and then to take action in faith as though they're already healed, right? So it's a really beautiful thing, right? Like as you work on yourself and improve your life, you now can teach that to others from personal experience, and then your trust and faith is increased, right? Okay, so moving into the concept of flow, okay? So what's really, really important to be in flow is to slow down, okay? So what can happen is when you start to learn all this information about marketing and business and sales, etc., you've probably already experienced this before because maybe you've taken another business training, or maybe you have listened to a lot of free calls about business, and then you've got all these ideas, right, of all these things that you need to implement. And then you want to actually maybe try something. And then you get like all wired up, right? And this feeling of like, oh my God, I got to get it done. I got to get it done. And like, all these moving pieces. And that will absolutely get you out of flow. You'll feel like you're in pushing mode, right? And unfortunately, pushing mode is, when you're pushing, energetically, you're pushing everything away from you that you want because your energy is pushy, okay? So when you start to feel that state of like franticness, overwhelm, like this idea, I have to, I gotta, all those things that your mind tells you, you just have to actually slow down, okay? So literally like walk slower, slow your breathing down, okay? Get back into trust, okay? Trusting that there's enough time. Trusting that what you need to know to even do, like say for example, a launch like this, okay? I did not spend weeks figuring out what the content of these videos was going to be, okay? I simply followed my intuition the whole time, okay? So I came up with a couple different concepts, and for example, this morning, I wrote the notes for this call before, or this video, this webinar, before I started talking about it right now, like honestly, okay? So am I in a state of intense pressure to get it perfect, to get it right? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm in a state of trust and flow. I'm trusting that I'm going to actually say what needs to be said. And in fact, when I sit down to do a training like this, I actually connect in with God and with the earth. And I ask that what needs to come through me that is in your best interest will come through me. And that's it, okay? And I've done business in the other way in the past, okay, where I've set up complicated launch systems and, done all this like planning and excessive like perfection. And not only were those not that effective for me, they were so draining, okay? Running a business like that is a perfect recipe for adrenal exhaustion, okay? You don't want to make yourself sick because you're so focused on business that now you're a sick person helping sick people, right? So just slow down and trust that what needs to come through you will come through you. And it's not like up to you to intellectually figure it all out, right? Of course I have a plan. I have notes. I did stop to think about what I wanted to tell you. Yes, I'm not that like, random. Although if I do a live stream, for example, I will just think about what I'm going to talk about in advance, and I will most likely not even write one note down most of the time. Okay. And it's, again, because I want what is present to come through me at that moment. And I don't want to pressure myself, right? Because if I'm working from pressure, I'm not working from flow, and I'm physically, or not physically, but energetically pushing away ideal clients, essentially, right? Because people are not going to be attracted to you if you are in a pushy mode. Okay. They're going to be attracted to you, or attracted to you if you're in a like high vibe state and feeling amazing, because they're like, they want to get on that train with you, right? So just relax about everything. Okay. And if you have to actually do the tasks, even if you were doing some sort of complicated launch process or something like that in your business, if you actually slow down and consciously do it slower, instead of thinking to yourself, I need to do this faster. Oh my gosh, you'll be amazed at how much more effective you are at allowing what needs to come through on the first time in a relaxed way, versus like, I gotta get this done, right? And then trying to force it out of you. It's amazing the difference that you will experience. That slowing down will just like allow your intuition to open up, and then you'll start to say the right things, or you'll start to write down the right things from that place of, again, it's a sense of trust in the timing, trusting that all of the knowledge that you need to have is already inside of you. Okay. And what I'm talking about is a lot of the marketing stuff. Okay. And same thing when you go to create your system, right? Don't be thinking, how do I get this right? How do I get it perfect? How do I look amazing, right? Think to yourself, okay, how do I create this so that it's going to make the biggest difference for people? And just that thought is a lot more of a relaxing thought, right? So then basically there's this thing of, the means is the end. Okay. So if you're trying to create something that is from a place of service, but the whole time you're building it, you're hurting yourself by giving yourself deadlines you can't meet, and perfection paralysis, and negative thinking or self-concepts, and the product that you create in the end is actually going to be infused with that energy. And obviously that's not what you want to give your clients, right? So do whatever you need to do to slow down and get back in flow, and act from inspiration, not from the fear, right? So always ask yourself, am I in a state of love right now, or am I in a state of fear? Okay. Then the next part of it is part of acting from love in your business is to stay focused on how you're helping people, not on how you're going to make money. Okay. Because part of that pushy thing that happens is fear and lack and doubt, right? About taking care of yourself. And I understand it, right? But that's a thing that actually creates more fear, lack, and doubt in your business. So no amount of fear, doubt, and lack consciousness is going to ever make you more successful in business, right? Like, it's just logical. That is not going to do it. And so I can tell you from my own experience that yes, I have done things that I've pushed and that have made me money. But then, like I said, you get stressed out and you don't experience the pleasure from it, right? And that's the whole point of doing this work, is like to make a difference for people, to like love what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, etc. And so obviously if you're feeling like you're not enjoying it while you're delivering it, then what's the point? You might as well just go back to work and have a job. And then at least you're not thinking about it all evenings and weekends, right? So you have to be really, really conscious about staying in that place of love for others and love for yourself, so you don't burn yourself out as well, right? And part of loving yourself is investing in yourself and making it easier for yourself by actually working with people who already have systems they can give you. So for example, you can take 3 or 4 years to make a gazillion handouts and like try to figure this out on your own, right? Or you can invest in yourself and in your knowledge by joining me in this program and getting all my tools and systems. So I can save you a whole bunch of time, right? That's loving yourself, okay? Because, unless you genuinely like doing that, it's not going to be fun, right? Like, luckily, I happen to enjoy making handouts. I'm the kind of person who, like, it's a good time for me is studying, right? So when I go and, like, want to research something and create a handout on it, that's not drudgery to me. That's like, oh, this is exciting, right? Like, I get to take all this, like, complex information to distill it down and give it to my clients to make their life easier. That is, actual pleasure for me, right? But There have been times when I've been doing things that I don't have that connection and relationship to, and I was doing them just to figure out how to be successful and make money, okay? And that actually took me off my path for a while, and I started to actually lose my juice, my passion, and it was almost like I was like, what am I even doing this for anymore? Like I felt like my mind was like, all it was obsessed with was like trying to figure out how to be successful, right? So just constantly like taking, I mean, honest to God, like I have spent way over $50,000, I'm not kidding you, on different trainings, on business, sales, marketing, launching, etc. Okay. And to be honest with you, the only thing that has been successful for me is the stuff that comes from the heart. Like having all of that, those tools are excellent, and I use them, and I've, distilled down the best of the best for you so that you don't have to go through not only all that time that it took me to learn all that stuff, but all the money that I spent to learn all that stuff, right? So, I don't regret any of that now that I get to pass that on to you. However, it's very draining when you lose touch with your mission, when you lose touch with your vision, and all you're focused on is suddenly like, how do I make this business successful? And then you're focused on just that, and less focused on how do I make my programs more amazing for my clients, right? So be careful not to get into that trap, right? Like some of you who are more interested in business than in others. So those of you who are more interested in business, you're more likely to get off that track, or off track and onto a track like that is not fulfilling. And some of you hate business and you're just like, oh my God, like, thank you for distilling this down for me so I don't have to do that, because I don't even want to, take all those trainings. I just want to know what works and do it. And that's essentially like what will also create a lot more ease in your life, is if you don't have to reinvent the wheel and learn from other people's mistakes, right? Okay. So let's move on to the pleasure part of it. Okay. So you want to create, in order to experience pleasure in your work, you want to create an outside the box business that allows you full creative expression, right? You have to let yourself be you. You don't want to conjure up a professional version of you and put that face forward in your business when you're someone else behind the scenes, right? Because that's essentially like putting an act on. And how long can you, stay in the act mode? Not that long, or if you do, it's draining, right? And a lot of people do this, not consciously, they do it because, again, they've seen this professional business world and this 9-to-5 model and what professional looks like. And so then they try to fit themselves into that box and portray that to the world, thinking that the world is going to trust them if they look professional, okay? No. How your clients are going to trust you is if you have a lot of passion and you tell your story and you're authentic and don't contrive things, right? So like I mentioned in the last video, like I could have contrived this entire series, right? By like writing everything down that I was going to say, doing a teleprompter, and I've done this, okay? Like I spent thousands of dollars to learn how to do launches like that, and that was my least successful launch ever, okay? It was the most professional. Okay, I had all that internet marketing technology with 3 videos on the top of the page and the da-da-da-da-da, okay? And what have I done? I've gone back to the like simple model that you see here, where I'm literally just using web pages on my site, okay? Not using the expensive technology, which I have. I have access to that. I bought it. But it's just that it's overwhelming dealing with all that technology, okay? And I don't want to resent the fact that I'm doing this, right? Like I want to feel excited to connect with you. I want to be focused on you, not on internet marketing, okay? So anyways, back to the creating outside of the box. You want to be able to express all of you through your business. So you can see here that I'm not trying to look professional. I'm not, right? I've got my food in the background, my supplements, my books. I don't have like some sort of screen, like green screen in the back that's showing like, Hawaii in the background. I've got my candle going, like it's me in my house. This is what this is, right? I'm not showing you something that is not my life. Okay. I'm just being me. And that means that I never feel like I'm off brand, right? Like my brand is me. So whatever I'm into, whatever I'm passionate about, that is what I will share with you. And it's just everything that now is my business is a reflection of me, and my entire life could be marketing, right? Like if I go downtown today and go to the beach, I happen to be so lucky to live somewhere where there's literally a lake in the middle of downtown, which is a lovely place, and I'm going there today. I could literally just pull my camera out and take a video while I'm on a walk at the beach and talk about what I'm doing. And even if it has nothing to do with nutrition, I can post it to Facebook, okay? And it's actually going to, whatever the topic is, even if it's not nutrition, okay, or even if it's not business, it's going to be basically, because I have a personal brand, it's going to attract certain people who are like me. So whatever, if they're interested in a topic I'm interested in or what I'm doing, then now they're like interested in me, and now they're going to listen to what I have to say about nutrition, right? Because they already see like, oh, we're same, we're both into this, we're both into that, right? So say, for example, if I post a beautiful bohemian style dress that I think is gorgeous, has nothing to do with nutrition wisdom, but I can post that on my personal or my business page, and all of my fans who also happen to like bohemian style dresses are going to pay more attention to me in the future, because they're like, oh, we're same. I like that too, right? This is like the human condition. So your lifestyle, just everything that you're interested in, and it's not necessarily even related to your topic, can actually become your marketing. So you can just like live your day-to-day life, pull out your camera every once in a while, take a video, take a picture, show people what you're doing. Marketing can be that easy. Okay, and that's really mixing business with pleasure, right? You really can mix business with pleasure. So let your pleasure, your hobbies, your interests, etc., become your marketing. It doesn't all have to be like super serious, you know, like I said, again, contrived content that is, you know, specifically designed for the purpose of getting a client, right? Like there's some things that you do that are for that reason, but then you still can infuse your marketing with just your personality, and don't, you know, get crazy about trying to script it all and make it perfect, right? Because also when you do that, not only is it not that authentic, right? And people don't relate to it as much, but it's so draining for you, honestly. Like it's so much more work to do it that way. So you just have to trust yourself, and that comes with time, okay? You know, my very first video that I ever did was probably not this relaxed, right? Because I would have been like, oh my God, this is my first video. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself. I probably did it 20 times or something like that, right? Now I don't do that, okay? I literally press record and I get going, okay? It's very rarely that I'll stop a video and start again, okay? And a lot of the videos that I do in my trainings, you'll see me get up and go let my cat out the door, you know, because that's real life. I'm not going to, if the cat needs to get out, I'm not going to not let the cat out, start the video from scratch, so that I can look perfect and professional. Okay, so you can do the same thing too. If you are a personal brand, just be yourself, right? People love that. They want to see real people. They're sick and tired of all this contrived marketing, right? Actually, today I saw somebody do a feed about some sort of business related thing that was a sponsored ad in my Facebook feed. And you know why it caught my attention? Because she looked like just a normal person in a normal setting without makeup on. I was like, wow, that caught my attention, because it's so opposite to the other, like a lot of internet marketers that are, you know, selling you on making six figures and things like that. They're showing you like in front of, or themselves like in front of a yacht or like some beautiful like environment. And so now most of us have actually stopped looking at that, because we've seen it too much. So now an ad comes, it's about business, but it's a woman not wearing makeup, and my eyes are like, boom, what's that? Like, you know, because it's something different, somebody just being themselves. And that's what, you know, your clients want too. And if you seem perfect, then people think they can't, that only you can do it and not them, right? Because they think that you must have more self-discipline than them, or you must have more courage, or, you know, that you're brave, etc. Okay, like I was the girl who, I was like shit scared, shaking in my boots, offering classes in my living room to 3 people, okay? And now I not only do videos like this, I did a lot of teleconferences. My original programs, I did a lot like audios, which now I do more of this, video webinar things, which I prefer. because now we have this technology, right? Which is great. And it's more connecting than like you see my eyes and I'm talking to you here and you see my body language is much more connecting than just, talking on an audio, right? I've been asked to speak at conferences. I've flown to the States to speak at birthing conferences, as a nutritionist, I am a nutritionist, but my background is as a doula. And I also was trained in holistic midwifery. And so I was asked to speak at a conference in the US with people who are my heroes, authors who, made a difference for me in my practice as a doula and my birth that I had with my children. That was really scary for me. But I just kept going, being invited to do these things. So if I was a person in my living room scared to do a talk to 3 people, to being asked to speak in a conference, flying there, teaching, and now I teach all the time as an instructor at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, I'm sure you can do it too, right? It's not like I was like a born speaker, right? Like I felt like maybe how you're feeling, like I have a message inside me and I have all these things I want to share with people. But I really held back for a long time because I was really scared of just being visible, being seen, all the things that you probably experience right now. And I promise you that you will get to a place of being comfortable with it, okay? And it just takes making those steps, right? And you just do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, okay? And then eventually become just more comfortable with it. But there's no way of actually skipping the learning curve. And I think that's where people struggle a lot, is they just wish they were already past the learning curve, and they're not willing to put themselves in the line, risk feeling foolish, looking foolish, failing, etc. But if you want to be successful, you have to risk those things. Otherwise, your life is just going to stay the same, right? And at the end of the day, no matter what happens, if you go and public speak, you're not going to die. You are not going to die. Okay, you might feel like you're going to die. But at the end of the talk, you're still going to be alive and breathing, and life will go on, right? And that was actually one of the things that I had to tell myself, right? I was like so scared, but I was like, honestly, like why? Because I could feel that I was afraid, similar to the idea of being killed, right? Like it was that level of fear. So, I had to talk myself into those things, and I had to tell myself that I would talk to myself in ways like recognizing that my fear was coming from being self-centered, that I was focusing on me instead of focusing on how what I was going to say was going to help others. So then I recognized that all of that fear was from me being selfish and self-absorbed and self-focused. And if I would just turn that focus onto other people, then I would go back into the place where I originally was when I was inspired to say yes to doing a class or taking somebody up on their request to have me speak. Okay. So you can do the same thing, and you can mix into your business anything that you enjoy. Okay, so if you enjoy hiking, well, is there a way that if you're doing packages in your business, is there a way you can incorporate hiking with your clients? Right? Like, why not? Why would you not if you could? And what if that's actually the thing that makes somebody choose to work with you, because they're like, oh, I could work with this person who does this, or, oh, this person, like, wow, this is cool. She's going to do a retreat day with me and we're going to go on a hike. Or maybe you're also a yoga instructor and you do a retreat day in one of your packages with your clients and you incorporate yoga in it, or Reiki or some other modality. Or, maybe you are like a makeup artist or something like that in the past. And you want to, maybe you have a package that helps people to have beautiful skin. So maybe what you do is you put in a makeover, right? At the end of the package, right? Where you bring in a photographer, or maybe you're good at photography and you take the picture, but you use your makeup skill. You can design your business in any way you want and express all of your creativity in it. The sky is the limit. And when you do that, it automatically makes your business unique. I talked in the last video about your unique selling proposition, right? Which eliminates the idea of competition, because not only are you bringing something, a totally unique package to the market, but if you're looking at yourself as a personality brand where you're allowed to just be yourself and bring your own perspective into your work, not trying to be professional, but just trying to be you, nobody could be you. So you have absolutely, your business has zero competition, right? And that is such a relief, right? Because so many people, when they go into business, they're really stuck on this idea of like, what is everyone else doing? And, how can I compete? And like, that's all lack thinking, right? So using the package model and putting in place the things that you are passionate about and having full creative self-expression in your business is, that's how you create a pleasurable experience delivering the service. Okay. So finally, the success part, and I've talked about this already, but I'm just going to remind you, is learning from somebody who's been where you are, okay, who's already done what you want to do and who's still doing that work. Okay, that's the best kind of person to learn from and to get support. We all require support to get through our own blocks, because if we could do it ourselves, we would have already gotten through those blocks. So the people who really make it are the ones who are willing to be lifelong learners and actually ask for the help and support. Okay, and I wouldn't ask you to do that if I hadn't already done that myself. That wouldn't be in integrity. Okay, and I know it works. The success that I've had in my life and in my business has come from deciding to not just take courses from other people so I could learn, but also actually hiring people to mentor me and be my coach to keep me accountable. Okay, like one of the things that I knew for the longest time after taking business trainings was that I had to actually sell. Okay. And I even learned the structure of a sales conversation. And I've told you already that now I love them, but I was in major resistance to them in the beginning, okay? So the only way that I was able to get myself to actually do it the first time was to hire a business coach. And I told her I will do it before the next session. And I swear to God, that was the thing that made me do it. If I hadn't said I was going to do it and then had to be accountable to her in 2 weeks to say that I had done it and shown her the results that I created out of it, I just would never have done it, honestly. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing right now, okay? Because I had so much aversion to sales at that time, okay? So, wherever you're blocked, you just have to like suck it up and accept that that's an area where you need someone to help you, okay? And like I said, it doesn't have to be me, but it needs to be somebody that you resonate with who can actually, hold the space for you to do it, and seeing you as powerful and seeing you as being able to do it even when you don't see that you can. And then also, because you are paying them money and because you want to follow through on your word, that's going to motivate you more than if you're just sitting behind your computer by yourself trying to figure out how to do things. What will happen is you'll just start focusing all on that marketing stuff and all that knowledge and not actually taking the action, right? Because the action requires emotional risk. And that's where people really, like I mentioned in the mindset video, that's why people don't actually take a lot of the action on what they learn, is because they've got all those mindset issues that stop them from implementing all this cool stuff that they've learned. But like I said, if you invest in yourself and in your knowledge by putting the money on the table, betting on yourself, okay, and then knowing that you have to follow through on your word to be a person in integrity, you're going to take the action that you would never take when it was just you by yourself. All right, so that is the final video in the Nourish Your Nutrition Business series in terms of training content. Now, for those of you who are interested in learning more about how we can work together, you're going to want to pay attention to the next video that's coming in a series where I'm going to walk you through everything that you'll learn in the Nourished Nutrition Business program so that you can get your business up and running and start making a living doing what you love ASAP. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.